One of the greatest backhanded compliments I think I've ever received was being told that I was not a natural born leader, but instead was, well, a self made leader. So, again, one of the greatest backhanded compliments I've ever received. You're not a natural born leader, you're a self made leader. Hey, everybody, my name is Roger Barbieri. Thanks for coming back. I am one of the owners and partners at SunWest Real Estate Advisors here in the greater Kansas City area. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have had teams of over 80 people that have done over 100 million in revenue. And these are a lot of the things that I've learned along the way that I want to impart back to you. All right, so today we're going to talk about the difference between a self-made leader and a natural born leader, because there's a lot of discussion on this. And what is a true leader? You know, where does it come from? What is that piece, that characteristic that's involved that truly does make a leader? And is it something that you're born with, or is it really something that you can grow into and develop? We're going to go through some of those pieces today and discuss that. So let's get started by talking a little bit about attitude. Dr. Myles Munroe talks about attitude, and he talks about the lion. Now, when we think of powerful creatures and we think of creatures that are true leaders, we think of the eagle, we think of the lion. And I want to focus in on the lion right now. The lion is the king of the jungle. The lion is the true leader universally. When you think of, Jesus talked about how he was the lion of Judah. He wasn't the puppy dog of Judah. He wasn't the kitty cat of Judah. He wasn't the fox of Judah. He was the lion of Judah, right? And when we look at the lion itself, the lion in the jungle is not the strongest of all the creatures. The elephants are much larger, much stronger than the lion. The lion's not the tallest. The lion, to be quite honest, is not even necessarily the smartest. And as Dr. Myles might say, gives a lot of us out there a little bit more hope when we put it in all that perspective. But yet the lion is the true leader of the jungle. And why? Because of attitude. It all comes down to attitude. Now, where does attitude come from? I mean, is this something that we are truly just born with, or is this something that we can acquire over time? Well, Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about how we don't actually break down early on in life. When we're talking with kids in schools and elementary levels, we don't break down the characterological development that needs to occur. We don't focus on emotional intelligence, and even to a degree a little bit of business acumen, because business acumen is something that can be taught and still be incorporated into every aspect of our lives. But the emotional intelligence, the business acumen piece, we don't work with children on these aspects of their character early on, and therefore we don't see more leaders in our society today. Because the attitude isn't there. The confidence isn't there. We're not breeding that confidence the way that it can and or should be. We would rather just teach what to think as opposed to how to think. A self-made leader is, in my personal opinion, a self-made leader is potentially more impactful than a natural-born leader, because in essence, we're all natural-born leaders. The difference is, what is it that you've chosen to do in order to get to that next level? What is it that you've chosen to do with your natural God-given ability in order to become a true leader? You can be good at anything, but unless that talent, unless that skill is refined, unless it is mastered, unless it is worked over and over and over again, you can never truly be great at anything. Because let's really take it into consideration that the term good is thrown around an awful lot. In a world in which we receive participation trophies for almost everything, good is no longer the path to great. Good is okay. Self-made leaders go beyond that. Natural-born leaders have skill that continues to be unrefined. Because at the end of it, leadership in its true essence is all about other people. And that too is a skill. That too is something that takes nurturing and refinement in order to really become good at. Ask some of the people who care the most about others. Ask those people when they sit down and they have conversations in order to help other people. It's hard to keep your mouth shut because you got so many things you want to say. But there are skills that have to be refined in order to be a true leader, because you have to listen. You have to intake. If you're not taking in what the person is saying, then how is it that you can turn around and help guide them and lead them, right? Lead them as a leader to the right outcome. I have met and known CEOs, founders, who are worth millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And these people, while very good within business within their own right and have built very successful companies, many of them are not leaders. They are people in power who have something that other people want, and that's money. And so those other people, they trade their time for their money, and that is where the power comes from of the CEO. As opposed to, oftentimes, going into a company and consulting with folks, getting to know folks, and realizing that sometimes it's the people on the lowest level who are the truest leaders that go unrecognized, because they're the ones that reach out to help their fellow workers, their fellow family, their fellow community members. They're the ones who are reaching out to help them and are taking on the extra burden. Sometimes leaders don't have to be at the top. So what does it look like when you become a company with a leader at the top that is a self-made leader? Which, again, I do believe that we are all, within our own right, natural-born leaders. It just takes the refinement. So what happens when you refine it and you truly do become that self-made leader that people are looking for, that people want to work with? Well, when you become that, you find a company that transcends its CEO, per se, and transcends its founder, because because the leader, whether it's a department, whether it's a company, the leader, if truly a self-made leader, is going to continually look out for what is in the best interest of everybody else around them. And it is an attitude, and it is a confidence. And I liken it back to being a parent at times, where nobody is a perfect parent, just like nobody is a perfect leader. Nobody. I don't care who you are. I mean, every time you think you got something going right, especially as a leader, as a parent, I don't care. Every time you think you got something going right, 10 other things pop up that are actually wrong. I mean, come on, am I right? Am I right? All right. True leaders. And again, I go back to being a self-made leader, because we are all born with the natural ability to be leaders. But true leaders, at the end of the day, will go back and will take other people on a transformational journey. And it's a transformational journey that bonds the person going through the transformation to the leader through a compound relationship. And it's compound because there's a lot of different moving parts to this. It's compound because the leader is filling their own cup in as I've discussed before in previous videos, and if you haven't seen them, go back and watch. As I've discussed before, when a leader is working with somebody else, they are filling their own cup because they are giving. And the person who is receiving, the person who is given permission to the leader to be a leader, the person who is following the leader down this path, that person is continually gaining more knowledge and more wealth because of knowledge. And when I say wealth, I don't just mean money, here. That's what leadership is about. But they continue to gain more and more, and that just builds on top of itself. So that knowledge continues to compound, kind of like compound interest. Once you take it away, you don't get it back. You can't really take knowledge away. So as it continues to grow, it stacks upon itself, that becomes a cyclical relationship. And that is where you see the greatest of companies thrive. So, at the end of the day, when we talk about being a natural-born leader versus being a self-made leader, we're all born with the innate ability to be leaders. It's not like being an athlete. I mean, some people are just gifted. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. If you go down on the sidelines of the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce is 6 foot something and just a massive man. Now, I don't care. I go down, I'm 6 foot tall, 195 pounds, and I'm not a small guy. I bodybuild, but good Lord, I couldn't play football with these boys. These boys crush me. They'd crush me. They're just genetically different. Some things you can't change. That just is what it is. But the human mind is something that you don't necessarily want to change, but you want to grow. And when you're born with the ability to be a leader, the synapses and the pathways that are defined within our brains, those occur at a young age. And if you find yourself in a position to where you're still getting that hankering to become more of a leader because you feel as if you want more, you feel as if you're born for more, you know that there is more out there for you, then what you need to do is you need to begin to truly research leadership and how it is that you can best serve others. Because you will refine the tools and you will refine the skills that you are innately given in order to best serve others. If you like what you've seen, please make sure to follow. Find us on YouTube. Be safe. Be blessed, everybody. And I look forward to talking to you all soon. Deuces.